The Nexari had watched humanity's expansion across the galaxy with growing unease. From their crystalline cities orbiting distant pulsars, they observed a peculiar species that seemed to thrive in the most inhospitable corners of space. Where other civilizations built carefully planned colonies, humans scattered like seeds on the cosmic wind, adapting to environments that should have killed them. Commander Zethka stood before the Council of Eternal Light, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with controlled anger. The holographic display showed yet another human settlement, this one carved into the surface of a dead moon, somehow flourishing despite the radiation that would sterilize any Nexari within hours. They spread like a plague, she declared to the assembled council members. 17 systems in the past cycle alone. They terraform nothing, yet they survive everywhere. They are an abomination to the natural order. The eldest council member, his crystalline form clouded with age, shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps coexistence is impossible, Zethka interrupted. We have tried diplomacy. We have offered them designated zones. They ignore our boundaries, claim entire star systems, as if they own the galaxy itself. The time for half measures has passed. The vote was unanimous, though not without hesitation. The Nexari, masters of stellar engineering, who could reignite dying stars and shepherd gas giants into perfect orbits, would go to war with the chaotic, unpredictable humans. The campaign began with surgical precision. Nexari battle stations, each the size of a small moon, emerged from hyperspace at the edges of human systems. Their weapons, powered by captured stellar energy, could boil away atmospheres or crack planets like eggs. The humans, with their crude fusion rockets and kinetic weapons, seemed laughably outmatched. But humanity did not fight as the Nexari expected. The first shock came at the Kepler 442 system. The Nexari fleet arrived to find the human colony already evacuated, not fled, but deliberately emptied, with every useful resource stripped away. When the battle station's commander ordered the bombardment of the planet's cities, the weapons found only empty shells and decoy installations. The real surprise came 3 days later, when the missing colonists, all 40,000 of them, emerged from stealth craft hidden in the system's asteroid belt. Their ships were crude, welded together from mining equipment and cargo haulers, but they moved with desperate purpose. They didn't try to fight the battle stations directly. Instead, they aimed for the stellar manipulation arrays orbiting the system's star. When those arrays died, the star's carefully regulated output fluctuated wildly. The chain reaction destroyed 2 battle stations and forced the remainder to retreat, leaving the Nexari forces scattered across half the system. Commander Zethka studied the tactical reports with growing confusion. The humans fought without honor, without proper formation, without regard for the established rules of warfare. They used their own civilian vessels as weapons, turned peaceful mining equipment into instruments of destruction, and seemed willing to sacrifice entire planets just to deny them to the enemy. The pattern repeated across dozens of systems. Humans abandoned valuable worlds without hesitation, only to strike from unexpected directions with jury-rigged weapons and tactics that violated every principle of civilized combat. They fought like cornered animals, and somehow impossibly, they were winning. The breaking point came at Sol, humanity's birth system. The Nexari assembled their greatest fleet, 300 battle stations, supported by 1,000 escort vessels. This would be the final stroke, the elimination of humanity's heart that would end their chaotic expansion forever. But when the fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, they found humanity waiting. The humans had turned their entire star system into a weapon. Every asteroid, every moon, every space station bristled with improvised armaments. The orbital installations around Earth weren't just cities, they were massive kinetic launchers, ready to hurl projectiles at relativistic speeds. Mars had been hollowed out, its core replaced with fusion reactors that could power defensive grids spanning light minutes. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Nexari fleet was broken, scattered wreckage drifting through the void. Commander Zethka's flagship limped away with critical systems failing, her crew dead or dying from radiation poisoning caused by human weapons that turned their own stellar energy against them. As her ship crossed the heliopause, fleeing toward deep space, Zethka received a transmission on the diplomatic frequency. A human face appeared on her screen, scarred, exhausted, but somehow still defiant. "Commander," the human said, "I'm Admiral Chen, representing what's left of the Seoul Defense Force. We know you're badly damaged. We're transmitting repair specifications and medical supplies to your location." Zethka stared at the screen in disbelief. "You would help us after what we have done?" Admiral Chen's expression was grim, but not cruel. "You came to exterminate us. We defended ourselves. But we're not monsters, Commander. We don't let people die in the cold if we can help it." The transmission ended, but the promised supplies were there. Detailed instructions for repairing Nexari biotech, medical compounds that could heal her dying crew. All of it freely given by the species they had tried to destroy. Now, cycles later, Commander Zethka serves as an ambassador between the two species. The war crimes tribunals have ended, reparations have been paid, and trade agreements signed. The galaxy has found an uneasy peace. But sometimes, in the quiet hours between shifts, she stands at the observation deck of her ship and watches the stars. Each point of light reminds her of the burning fleets, the wasted lives, the terrible pride that led her people to war against a species they never tried to understand. The humans had fought like savages, yes, but they had offered mercy like saints. They had adapted to every challenge, survived every assault, and when victory was theirs, they had chosen forgiveness over revenge. The stars burn with the same light they always have, but now they burn with regret, the eternal reminder of how badly the Nexari had misjudged the strange, impossible species that called themselves human. In trying to bring order to the galaxy, they had learned that sometimes chaos, compassion, and unpredictability were exactly what the universe needed. The greatest tragedy wasn't the war itself, but how unnecessary it had been. Humanity had never wanted to be conquerors. They had simply wanted to exist, to spread, to find their place among the stars. And in trying to stop them, the Nexari had discovered that the galaxy was vast enough for both order and chaos to coexist. The stars burn on, witnesses to folly and redemption alike.